Welcome back, fam. This is Mr. James, the decomposer and the synthesizer of Math and Science Tutor. Bafetu, as I always say, if you're not okay, if you're not good, do what? Take one day at a time. And in all that you do, don't forget to invite God, Bafetu, okay? Always invite God, and I hope you guys will enjoy the rest of the video. Today, basically, I'm just going to be touching or trying to cover the basic rules or principles or formulas for analytical geometry from grade 10. Basically, those who are doing grade 11 and grade 12, guys, let me just tell you something. This is going to be part of revision for you. If you forgot some formulas, you forgot how to apply them and all that. So on this video, I'm going to be covering those. So I hope you guys will enjoy and understand, Let's continue, guys. So the first key things that you guys need to know that will definitely come in an exam or a test, based on the questions that we'll be giving you. Number one, you need to know a distance formula. Distance what? Formula. Okay, so basically, distance formula, you need to understand something. Let's just assume that we have line A, line B. So on A, I can just say this guy is x1 and y1. Sorry for that. And y1. Here, x2 and y2. Okay. So now, you're gonna be asked to determine the length of AB or the distance of AB. And how are you going to find the length? Basically, the length tells you how short or how long something is, right? So what is the length of AB or what is the distance of AB? Now here's a formula. It's given by distance of AB is given by the square root of x1 minus x2 all squared plus y1 minus y2 all squared. This is the formula of the distance or the length of AB. Okay, so x1 minus x2 you square it plus y1 minus y2 you square it as well. They must still be under the square root, and then you just substitute those values that you get, that you are given by the way, and then you hit in your calculator, and then that's gonna be your answer. If they say leave your answer in a set form like this guy, a third form, it's when your answer it's like square root of 6 or square root of 3 or square root of 2. Leave your answer like this, and then you just write what? Units. That's how you leave your answer as set form. You must leave it like that. If they say to you, leave your answer in 2 decimal places, and you got like square root of 3, let me show you something. On your calculator, just say square root of 3, and then equals to, you got this guy, it's a set form. Yes, you don't know how to change it because it's an irrational number. You just press this guy here, and then you can see it's going to give you 1,73. So your answer then is going to be what? 1,73 of the square root of 3. If they say leave it in 2 decimal places or 3 decimal places, 1,732. That's 3 decimal places, okay? Or 3 by the way, yeah, 3 like this, like 3. And then 2 is like this, right? 2, yeah. And then from there, a set form, you just leave it as the square root of 3, square root of 2, or square root of 6. I hope you were able to can understand, because some people get confused. They don't know whether I should leave my answer in a set form or decimal places. Check what they are asking you. If they said leave your answer in 2 decimal places or 3, you do what I've shown you. If they said leave in a set form, you just leave it as it is. Okay, thank you guys so much. Now let's continue. Now some people might say, okay, our teacher said we must use this, or the textbook or the study guide that I use, it gives me a different formula. Okay guys, let me tell you something. Even if you say x2 minus x1, y2 minus y1, you are still correct. Basically what you did, you started by saying x2 minus x1, y2 minus y1, and then you still put them under the square root, and then each and every bracket is squared. Believe me, you hit that on the calculator, you're gonna get the same answer with starting with x1 or y1. Okay. Another formula that you guys can also use is to say xb minus xa, yb minus ya. So xb minus xa, y, okay, it's fine. It's a, it's b, it's a, it's also b. All right. So you are still allowed to use this formula. Don't worry. Someone can say, can I use a? Yes, you are allowed to. Still want to get the same answer. But then now it's b. So make sure xa minus xb. If you say xa, here you start with the value of b, it's going to be wrong. So make sure that if I started with my values of b, I must also start with them on the y's. Ne? So x, oh sorry my guys, sorry my people. Ne? So xb, xb, yb, yb, xa, xa, y, and what did I do? I'm sorry guys, my apologies for that, my apologies. Okay, thank you. xa, xa, ya, ya, xb, xb, yb, yb. That's the best order or the correct order. The way I did it was wrong. Please guys forgive me. In my mind I'm like I did it correct. Okay, thank you so much. Now that's actually the formula of how you can find the length of any given 2 points. Okay, then now sometimes you might not be given a, b, you might be given p and q, like p and q. Now someone might say, okay, you said it's ab, so should I still say ab? And no, if it's pq, then what you're gonna do, you just remove ab, you put pq, and then you'll start with the values of p, q, p, q. Even here, p, xp, yp, xq, yq. You get what I'm saying? Even if you want to start with this values of this guy, you do the same thing. What if you're given the points of DE? So 1, 1, and 2, 2. So if I'm given the point D and the point E, what must I do? Don't worry guys, you remove that guy, you're gonna say DE. So DE equals to who? XD minus XE and YD minus YE. Someone can say XE minus XD all squared plus YE minus YD, or you're still fine, don't worry, okay? Even if you say X1, X2, Y1, Y2, you're still correcting it. Remember, your X1 must always be of the D, Y1 of the D, X2 of the E, Y2 of the E, so that everything is correct. Don't swap, okay? Please, guys. Now, let's continue. I hope you're able to understand the distance formula and how we must actually use it, right? I'm going to show you guys with questions after. Now, let's continue to something else, which is part number 2 of the basic rules of analytical geometry. We're going to be having something called a gradient. A gradient. I'm going to make use of A and B. It's still fine. A, B. So now we are on something called the gradient. How do you find the gradient? What is the gradient? The gradient is basically the slope of a straight line, right? Whether the slope is decreasing of that straight line or is increasing. You know, it also in geography it tells you about the gentleness of the slope, whether the slope is gentle or is steep. You understand? So if they ask you to find the gradient of any given 2 points or straight line, your formula is going to be m, which is this m. It stands for the gradient, okay? It's given by changing y over changing x equals to y1 minus y2 over x1 minus x2. That is the formula of calculating the gradient. So y1 minus the y2, the x1 minus the x2. You are still allowed to start with the points of B, okay? You can still say y2 minus y1, x2 minus the x1. You are allowed to. Still okay. Alright? Remember, this is the gradient of what? AB. See? Gradient of AB. Then someone can say, am I allowed to say B and then here I say A, B, or A. Yes, you're allowed to do so. Don't worry. Okay, don't even panic. Yes, someone can say, okay, Mr. Decomposer, is it also allowed if I say YA minus YB and XA minus XB? 100% you are allowed. Okay, so these are possible ways in which people can use the gradient formula to calculate the slope of this line AB. Okay, this is basically the formula. You'll be given the point, so you just put that y here, that y there, you minus it, make sure x1 like that, the x of A is this guy here, the x of B here, and then you get your answer. This is just some basics, guys. I'm going to show you how to apply them, okay? Stay patient and finish the video with me, right? Good stuff. Then now, let's go to something else called the midpoint. The midpoint. Okay, the midpoint. The midpoint formula. Okay, so someone might say to me, say, what is a midpoint? Before we give you guys the formula. A midpoint is basically a point that will cut a straight line into two equal parts. And that midpoint, we sometimes call it a, that point is a point of, it bisects. We say that that point bisects. To bisect is to cut something into two equal parts, okay? So here is a bar, one of the bars from a chocolate called a Twix, right? So this chocolate is you and your partner, you and your friend, you and your little sister, or you and your brother, or you get what I'm saying? And then you want to have an equal amount of this chocolate, okay? You want to share it basically, so you're going to divide it into two parts. So you just mark with a pencil or a pen or a pin here, just make a point. That point is basically your midpoint or your line of bisector, a point of bisector, which is going to make sure that it cuts it. Look, you see? So basically you can see that they are like, it's just that, you can see, you can really get my point, right? That this is actually how you can cut things into two equal parts. So the line that is here, the point that is here, that is making sure that these two guys are basically equal in terms of the length, we call it midpoint, okay? So I'm going to call this guy, I'm going to construct someone here called C. C is a midpoint of AB. C is a midpoint of AB. So what happens is that C will cut AB into two equal parts. So we'll have AC to be the same as BC. Okay? And then line AB will be twice AC or twice BC. Someone might also say, no, AB is the same as AC plus BC. So meaning if here it's 1 meter, and then here's also going to be what? 1 meter. So what is 1 plus 1? 2. So meaning line AB is going to be 2 meters. So if AC is 1, 2 times 1 is 2. So you can still see that line AB is 2 meters. That is another example in which I can try to show you guys about midpoint. Ne? So now let me take you through to the formula that you guys must use. So this is the formula of a midpoint. Okay, capital letter M, so which is given by x1 plus x2 divided by 2 and y1 plus y2 divided by 2, close the brackets. So this is the formula of calculating the midpoint of any given 2 points, okay? Now, your midpoint C, his points are x and y. Okay, C is x and y. Remember, a point or a coordinate must always have x and y. And x is the independent, y is the dependent. X always comes first, y comes after. Don't write it like this, y, x. Always values of x comes first, values of y comes after. Ne? Please, that is the order. I see some people do those mistakes and stuff. So please don't do that. Number 2. Am I allowed to also say x2 plus x1, y2 plus y1? Yes, you're still allowed. Don't worry. Still allowed. Am I still allowed to say xa xb, ya, yb, sorry for that, yb. Yes, you're still allowed. So the x of a here plus the x of b here, you divide them by 2, they'll give you this x. That's number 1. Number 2, the y of a plus the y of b, divide by 2, they'll give you this y. So if you have this x and this y, they're basically the 2 points of C. So therefore the final answer will be your x and y. This x comes from this guy, this y comes from this guy. That is going to be the midpoint of line AB, which is the point C, or the coordinate of C. Okay, that is the formula, guys. This is the formula of finding the midpoint of AB. Sometimes they can say this to you. You are given the points of B and also given the midpoint. Please bear this in mind with me. You are given the midpoint between A and B. You are also given a point of B, but you are not given A, meaning A is unknown. The points or the coordinate of A are unknown. So how can you determine, or how can you find, or how can you calculate the points of A? This is what you do. This is the formula that you guys must do. Okay. Now check it out. Check it out. We're going to make use of some skills of algebra in this case. So the formula is given by x equals to x1 plus x2 divided by 2. Y equals to y1 plus y2 divided by 2. Close the brackets. This x is this guy. This y is this guy. x1, x2 of b. y1 of a. y2 of b. Of A, of B. Do you get it? Then now check it out. You are given the points of C, which is your midpoint. You put the value here of x, you put the value of y here, okay? And you're also given these points, x2, y2. So they are asking you to find x1 and y1, which are the points of A. How do you do that? Check. 2 times x, 2x, which equals to x1 plus x2. 2 times y, 2y, which equals to y1 plus y2. Excuse me. Then from there, guys, how do I find x1? You make x1 to be the subject of the formula, okay? The skills of algebra. You transpose x2 to the other side. So it's going to be 2x. If this guy is positive, when it goes to the other side, it's going to be minus. So it's going to be minus x2, which equals to x1. And now, here, 2y minus y2 equals to y1. What did I do? I transposed y2 to the other side. And since it's positive, when it goes to the other side, it becomes negative. When he crosses this equal sign, he's going to change from negative to positive, or from who? Positive to negative. If you don't understand how to solve this, look at some of my videos of algebra or solving for x. You will see how I show you how values change. They just basically change their sign, okay? From left to right or from right to left, okay? Thank you so much, guys. And now you can see I will be having my x1 and my y1. Then you got the points of A. If you're looking for the points of B, obviously you will take x1 to the other side, you're left with x2. This guy, you will take here, you will take y1 to the other side, you'll be left with y2. That's how you find the points of B. If you are given the midpoint and another point, this is the formula. But if you are given these 2 points, they are looking for the midpoint, you use the first formula that, guys, I've shown you. I hope this will be able to help you. Remember, these are just the basics. I'm going to give you guys questions which we're going to do together, where we use values, right, to actually apply all these basics that I'm just giving you right now. Okay, so let's continue, guys. So after midpoint, there is something called equation of a straight line. Equation of a straight line. How do you find the equation of a straight line, guys? How do you find the equation of a straight line? Or what are the formulas of the equation of a straight line? Because I don't think some people do know that, right? So now we are on equation of a straight line. So yeah, my handwriting is kind of bad, I know, right? Some people might not see what's going on there. So equation of a straight line. How do you find the equation of a straight line? Or what are the formulas, by the way? Number one, the first formula is given by y equals to mx plus c. The second one is given by y minus y1 equals to m into x minus xy. These are the two formulas that you guys must use to find the equation of a straight line. Now guys, who is this guy? This guy we call him the y-intercept. This guy we call him x-intercept. This m we call him the gradient. Even this guy is still the same, m gradient. You get it, ne? Yeah. So someone might say, okay, how do you basically use this one, the bottom one? Don't worry guys, I'm gonna show you how to find the equation of a straight line using this guy or this guy. For now, what I want you guys to do is to know that there are two equations that we can use to find the equation of a straight line. Okay? And for you to find the gradient, always have 2 points. Okay? Good stuff. Let's continue now to something else, which is called parallel lines and perpendicular lines. Parallel lines and perpendicular lines. Okay, now let's see about, I'll just put it there. So let's talk about parallel lines. Parallel. Wait, what's going on there? Parallel. Hey, how do you write parallel? Okay, sorry. Sometimes these words, they can just slip out of your mind, you know. Okay. Okay guys, about parallel lines, basically, one thing you guys should know about parallel lines, ne? We show, this is the symbol of parallel lines. Okay? Yeah. So a symbol of parallel lines is this guy. So number one about parallel lines, M1 equals to M2 equals to M3, meaning equal gradients. Parallel lines always have equal gradients. If they say to you, determine whether the two lines are parallel or not, you must calculate the gradient of line 1, the gradient of line 2. If those two gradients are the same, then it means that the lines are parallel. That's one thing you must know. Number 2, distance 1, or let me write it nicely. Distance 1 must equal to distance 2, and probably distance 3. And then here we say they have equal length or equal distance. So if the points, they have equal distance or they have the equal length, they are also part of parallel lines. I'm going to show you something so that you can understand nicely. Let me show you guys something. Because someone is not getting what I'm saying, which is okay. And let me show you guys. This is line AB, line CD. Parallel lines are basically lines that must never touch or cross each other from grade 8 and grade 9. You guys know that. And then parallel lines, we represent them with arrows or arrows like this. So whenever you see something like this, it means that lines are parallel as well. Okay? So check something again. Parallel lines. Look, I have this guy. It's a shape which is ABCD. There are two arrows that you can see here. So I can tell that line AB is parallel to line who? CD. These two arrows simply shows me or tells me that AB is parallel to CD. So if they say to me I must prove, I must do what? I must find the gradient of AB. Calculate the gradient of AB, number 1. Number 2, calculate the gradient of CD. If the gradient of AB is the same as the gradient of CD, like this, the gradient of AB equals the gradient of CD. Therefore, AB is parallel to CD. The lines are parallel. And as long as the lines are parallel, they can also have equal length or equal distance. So I can do something like this. Those two lines that you see on this line AB and CD simply means that line AB is the same as line CD. So calculate the distance of AB using the distance formula. 2, calculate the distance of CD using the distance formula. If the two distances are the same, you are still allowed to say lines are parallel. But in most cases, they prefer using gradients. But there's another way to can show you. Because if this shape is ABCD and it's a square, we know that a square, all sides are equal and parallel. Okay? All sides, meaning this side, AB and CD, is the same as AC and BD, and they are also parallel. Okay, I can use this line like this. Sorry. So look, it's a line, and then I can do this guy. So you can see all the sides are equal and all the sides are parallel. This is a square. So guys, my advice, know the shapes of quadrilaterals, know the shapes of triangles. And under the shapes of triangle, you must know all the properties of triangles like isosceles, right angle, scaling, your equilateral triangle. And then under the quadrilaterals, which are shapes that has 4 sides, like you must know square, your parallelogram, your rectangle, your rhombus, your kite, and the last one I think is trapezium. So please know the properties. I'm going to also share the links below so that you guys can actually be able to access the different types of shapes and their properties, because you're going to be asked some questions based on those shapes. Or sometimes when you have to do the calculations, you must apply the properties. So make sure about it. I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you. Let's continue, guys. There is something called perpendicular lines. Now, let me see something. Let me see something about perpendicular. So, perpendicular is something like this. Perpendicular lines. Okay, this is perpendicular, perpendicular lines. So this is the symbol we use or to denote perpendicular lines. So check, I have a line, let's mark it A, and this line is B, and I can extend my line, allow me to extend my line towards my east or towards my right, or towards east, and let's call this guy C, right? Now you can see, we say that line AB is perpendicular to line BC. We say a vertical straight line and a vertical straight line and a horizontal straight line, whenever they intersect at a point, they'll form a right angle. So they'll form a right angle. And whenever two lines form a right angle, which that angle is 90 degrees, we say that the two lines AB and BC, they are perpendicular. Now, this is how you are going to show. The formula is given by this. M1 times M2 equals to -1. M1 times M2 equals to -1. If the product of the gradients gives you -1, we say that the lines are what? Perpendicular. For example, prove a bit or show that AB is perpendicular to BC. You're gonna say, firstly calculate the gradient of AB, multiply it by the gradient of BC after calculating it as well. If the two gradients, when you multiply them, they give you -1. Therefore, we're gonna say that line AB is perpendicular to line what? BC. Put that in mind, okay? Number 2, they can say to you, Afetu, prove that angle B is 90 degrees or angle ABC is 90 degrees. So if you want to prove that this angle, guys, is a 90 degree, you must do this. Calculate the gradient of AB, number 1. Number 2, calculate the gradient of BC. Number 3, multiply the gradient of AB by the gradient of BC. If you multiply these two gradients and they give you -1, therefore angle B or angle ABC is 90 degrees. These are the two ways in which you can be asked a question in an exam or a test to say, show or prove or check whether the angle something is 90 degree. Check. Use that line. I agree with you, there will be two lines like this. Line AB, even if, guys, it's a triangle. Look, even if it's a triangle like this. You must use line AB, the gradient, and the line BC, the gradient, right? After calculating them, multiply them. If they give you -1, it means that this angle is 90 degree. Okay. Now, another way in which someone can say, besides this guy, can I also check if C is a 90 degree? Yeah, this is what you can do. Let me show you. This is what you can do, guys. Let's just say we don't know that B is a 90 degree. They say, determine whether this guy here, you see, here is a 90 degree. So, you must prove that angle C is 90 degrees. For you to prove, or remember you can still write it like this, angle ACB, or someone can say angle BCA, it's 90 degrees. Okay, you can either write like this, ACB or BCA or angle C. Okay, how do you prove that? Use the line. Remember, the two lines that intersect at that point, you must find their gradients, like this. The gradient of BC multiplied by the gradient of AC. You must calculate the gradient of BC, number 1. Calculate the gradient of AC. Number 2, multiply those two gradients. If their product gives you -1, therefore we're going to say angle C is a 90 degree angle or it's a right angle. Those are ways in which they can bring this type of questions in an exam or a test. Yeah, so guys, please put this in mind. These are just some basics that you guys need to know for analytical geometry, and the most key ones, the most ones that are like the keys, because they like to play along with this. That's why I had to give you guys some formulas and some rules behind this. And then number 2 is that you must make sure that you don't confuse parallel lines and what? Perpendicular. Remember the symbol perpendicular. Remember the symbol parallel. Okay? Good stuff. Now let's go to the last part that I would like you guys to know, which is points that are on the same straight line. I want you guys to know that whenever points are on the same straight line, something is going to take place. Okay, let me put it nicely. So guys, check it out. Okay, the term colinear or colinear basically simply tells you that, points are on the same what? Straight line. Whenever points are on the same straight line, they are what? They are what? Colinear or colinear. Again, anyhow you guys might pronounce it and stuff. Yeah. So we say that the points are on the same straight line. Okay, that is what this term simply means. Now, number 2, look at this, guys. Look at this. Let's just say we have A, we have B, we have C, right? They say to you, determine whether A, B, and C are colinear. So if you want to prove that they are collinear or they are on the same straight line, these are the things that you must know, guys. Let me erase here. The gradient number 1. The gradient 1 must equal to the gradient 2, must also equal to the gradient 3. And then the distance 1 must equal to the distance 2 equals to distance 3. So the gradient of AB must be the same as the gradient of BC, must also be the same as the gradient of AC. Let me write them down nicely for you. Check, Bafiki, don't worry. Like gradient of AB must be the same as the gradient of BC, which must also be the same as the gradient of AC. So if the gradient of AB is the same as the gradient of BC and is also the same as the gradient of AC, we say that the points A, B, and C are colinear, meaning that they are placed. It means that they are on the same straight line. Okay. And points that are on the same straight line will always have equal gradients and equal distance. Number 3, they will also share the same equation of a straight line. Because they lie here on the same straight line, it means that the equation of AB is going to be the same as the equation of AC and BC. Okay? Let me write that down. So it means that the distance of AB, line AB will be the same as the line BC as well as the line AC. The lines must also be the same, or their length. Basically, when you're calculating the distance, must also be the same. And then number 3, same equations should be shared. Okay, so the points, if you still check, if you can still note, remember, you have your A, your C, and your, oh sorry, it was B here and C here. So look, line AB, the equation of line AB will be the same as the equation of BC. And the equation of BC and AB will also be the same as the equation of what? AC. Why? Because they are on the same straight line, meaning they are what? Colinear. So these are the most important basic rules that you guys need to know, especially for those that are doing grade 10 analytical geometry. Please keep this in mind. Those are doing grade 11 and grade 12. This is going to be a good revision for you guys to remember these rules, to remember these formulas, because they don't teach you anymore. Basically, you in grade 12, you just need to know the equation of a circle and stuff, which I'm going to cover for you guys, those ones who are doing grade 12. Yeah, and then grade 11, we are still together. You guys are still using the same thing as grade 12, grade 10. One thing that you guys need to know is that you need to know the properties of quadrilaterals and the properties of triangles, because they will definitely come out, whereby you'll be given a Cartesian plane, something like this. A Cartesian plane, y-axis, x-axis, they draw a triangle, asking you guys questions. And then grade 11, they'll give you an angle here, which is a theta here. They say an angle of inclination. Grade 11, you have something called angle of inclination. Let me just touch it. Sorry. Let me just touch it. For those that are doing grade 11. This might also help them. So we have something called angle of inclination. I can call that guy theta, beta, or alpha, but let me just make use of theta. Okay, so I can have something like this. This is the y, and this is the x-axis, and I could have a straight line. Maybe let me use red. There is a line which is line AB. Line AB. Okay. line AB, and then there's gonna be an angle here. Okay, so guys, you can see there is an angle. Remember, an angle is when two lines meet at a point called a vertex. That's what we call an angle. When two lines, line and a line, they meet at this point, this is called an angle. This point is called a vertex. Okay, so you can see line axis and line AB meet at this point here. Then they form an angle. That angle is called angle of inclination. So what is the definition? What is the definition? Okay, let me try to... Another one could be like this maybe. See, then I could also create another one here, theta. This is going to be CD. You can see that this line CD had to form another angle here with the x-axis. Look, with the x-axis. The x-axis is this horizontal line. With this line CD, they had to form an angle. You see, that angle is also called, I can call this one angle 1, angle 2. Theta 1, theta 2. So theta 1 and theta 2, they are both angle of inclinations. So what is the definition of an angle of inclination? Let me write it down. Let me write it down. Before I write it down, can I give you guys the formula? Here's the formula. Tan theta 1, since is made of the line AB, is going to be equal to the gradient of AB. That's why. Number 2, tan theta 2, which is made by the line CD, is going to be made by the gradient of CD. So the formula that they will give you in the textbooks and study guides is always tan theta equals to m. I will just use a red marker to denote it, guys. So this is the formula that you will get. The m stands for the gradient, guys. M is your gradient. Remember, I showed you guys how to find the gradient when I started with this video. So just make sure you understand. Ne? The gradient, you use 2 points, you find the gradient. From there, they can ask you to find this angle. But don't worry. I will show you guys. Okay. So yeah, if you want to find the gradient of line AB, you have the theta, which is theta 1. You just say tan the angle that you're given. If maybe it's 45, let me show you guys something. If this guy is 45 degrees, you're just gonna say tan 45 degrees equals to the gradient of line M, which you don't know what it is. Maybe if it's AB, it's gonna be AB. Heating calculator is gonna give you 1. So meaning that that one is the gradient of AB. That's how you show the gradient of a line. Okay. Number 2. Okay, sorry for that. Number 2, you have theta 2. Theta 2, it has its own straight line. Okay. So the gradient is going to be the gradient of CD. It's going to be the gradient of what? CD, which is this guy. Because this one is the gradient of AB, which must give us the theta 1. Now let me show you guys something. Angle of inclination formula is given by theta. Let me show you. Oh, people. Let me show you guys. Look. Tan theta equals to m. Then theta equals to arctan of m. This is the formula of finding the angle. If they ask you to determine the angle of inclination, you start here, tan theta equals to m, then you take tan to the other side. When you take tan to the other side, it becomes, you press shift tan on your calculator. You press what? Shift tan. Then it's going to give you arctan, then you hit that angle, that gradient that you got. For example, if the gradient of, let me show you guys, don't worry. Let me show you. Let's just say our gradient AB, the gradient of AB equals to 1. And then they're looking for the angle of inclination here. Okay, we do not know it. They're looking for it. Okay, how do you find this angle? This is the formula, guys. Let me show you. Ne? I hope you were able to write it down or copy it. Then now check what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna say tan theta of the gradient of AB, and then I have tan theta, substitute. Here it's 1. Then what happens? Theta equals to arctan of that one. Believe me, if you press shift tan, you put 1 inside the brackets, you're gonna get your answer as 45 degrees. Then this is gonna be your what? Your angle of inclination. Okay? Good stuff. Now the question is, what happens if the theta that you just calculated, maybe it gives you negative 65,43 degrees. You see this angle is negative. Make sure, remember tan. Check my videos, guys, of introduction to trigonometry and all that on TikTok and here on YouTube. I've shown you guys what you call a cast diagram or a cast diagram, whereby you see that all student takes coffee. Some people might use whatever that they use to remember that diagram, where you see that tan can only be positive in the first quadrant and the third, right? So here's the formula. We say that theta equals going to be equal to 180 degrees plus the angle that you just calculated. You just basically plus arctan of the M. This is the formula I can give you guys, right? Yeah, let me show you basically. So let's just say you just made your calculations and then you got your angle as minus 65 plus 45 degrees. You're gonna say then theta equals to 180 degrees plus that angle which is minus 65,43 degrees. And then you're gonna get your final answer. So basically you make this as your reference angle, and then the final answer is gonna be positive. So the reason why we add by 180 is because of tan is positive here in the third quadrant, because first, second, third, fourth, ne? Remember that. So that is actually one of the things that people who are doing grade 11 and 12, they must remember about angle of inclination. But what is the definition? Then check it out quickly, guys. Check it out. And then if you know the definition, then you'll be able to tell your friends and others to say, hey, look, okay, what is angle of inclination? Is the angle formed between the x-axis, between the x, oh sorry for that my people, the x-axis. So listen guys, the angle formed between the x-axis and a straight line cutting through the x-axis. Okay, so remember you have this guy, it's your y, your x. Okay, now there's a line that comes in. Look, angle is here, theta. So the angle that is formed between the x-axis and the straight line cutting through the x-axis, we call it angle of inclination. I hope you guys were able to understand angle of inclination. I'm gonna give you guys the questions on how to answer all of the different formulas and all that. So basically I'm gonna bring questions and I'm gonna be applying all these basics on the next video. So on the next video is gonna be a part 2. Please guys, check it out. Make sure that you finish the video with me so that you don't miss anything out, whereby I'll be touching from distance until the angle of inclination. So it's going to be covering grade 10 and grade 11. Those who are doing grade 12, since in grade 12 you're still doing some of the questions in grade 10 and 11, you must also watch it because it's going to help you in your exams and tests. I wish you guys all the best. Remember, I'm going to share some questions below the link so that you guys can try to check them out, and some videos as well that are there on TikTok, so that you guys can also check them out as well. We are all together. Let's spread Mr. James the Decomposer. Don't forget to subscribe, to share, and to like. Stay blessed. Love you all. Bye-bye.